Hii Kenya ni kuisha tunaisha. Yani President William Ruto is building a church in Statehouse, na hii itakuwa worth 1.2 billion na ishaanza, lakini Kenya hakuna pesa. Hakuna pesa ya kulipa walimu, hakuna pesa ya kulipa madaktari, hakuna pesa ya other projects, lakini kuna kanisa ya 1.2 billion Kenya shillings. My friend, ndio maana huyu jamaa hataki to visit.
Kenyan president just did something unbelievable, and Kenyans cannot believe this. This president just used taxpayers' money, 1.4 billion Kenyan shilling. This is around $10.9 million to build one church, his own church in Statehouse. Can you believe this? He said that the main reason why he built this church is to expel the evil spirits that are in Kenya. So the Kenyans church, they are not good enough to expel the evil spirit. And this is why he built his own personal church. And this church cost 1.4 billion Kenyan shillings. Mind you, this is not his own money. This is not his own money. He took taxpayers' money and misused it and built one church. I don't know why Kenyans are protesting and why they don't like this president. Like, how can you use taxpayers' money to build just one church, your own personal church? If you compare the Kenyan president with Ibrahim Traore was offered by Saudi Arabia to build 200 mosques, but he said no. He said that his people need food, need education more than mosques, more than churches.
Revealed Ruto's 1.2 billion shilling church at Statehouse.
What?
Yep. Controversy. According to recent satellite imagery, the building is already coming up near the presidential helipads. President William Ruto is quietly overseeing the construction of a massive church within the grounds of Statehouse, Nairobi, in a move that raises questions on the constitutional separation between church and state. Nation has seen detailed architectural designs and drawings of the imposing structure that is expected to have a sitting capacity of 8,000 and cost
8,
hundreds of millions. Yes.
8,000.
Like the prosperity gospel churches of the 90s. 8,000. I don't know if we need to belabor what the issue is here. Let's start with
just read the story.
I read the story before I bring the issues.
Kanisa iko wapi? Pastor ni nani?
Okay.
What denomination is
that
it?
story is on page 2 and 3. It says that we've talked about that headline. It says, as the towering cathedral rises on the House of the Hill, questions about the constitution that separates church and state, amid fears that public institutions are being turned into personal pulpits, and how far Ruto is willing to merge faith and governance. So, as we said, Nation has seen detailed architectural designs, and that the estimated cost is of this seating capacity of 8,000 is 1.2 billion. It's not clear if the cost will be met by the taxpayer. The cathedral-like building designed by Scare, I believe, Architects Limited, features twin crosses on its rooftop and a tall, narrow, cluster-style windows flanking the central edifice. It says that Nation sought to establish the rationale, constitutionality, and total cost. It goes on again to say that President Ruto had previously stated publicly his intention to build a church to underscore his Christian faith. They talk about how in his Karen residence, it used to host religious leaders while campaigning for the top seat in 2022. At the time, he dismissed critics and vowed to construct an even larger one if elected. So, red flags, guys. They were there.
Earlier this year, during a church service in Dagoretti, Nairobi, he has said, there's a special field that I am working on, specifically meant for people who pray, those who preach. He said this on the 11th of January during a service at the United Pentecostal Church of Kenya in Dagoretti North. I want you, the clergy, to come and bless that field once it's ready. I'll invite you so that we can talk. The architect on record is Scare Architects, and the Nation reached out to them for comment regarding the status of the project. At first, the architect denied undertaking any construction at State House. When presented with images and designs of the building showing that the company is in charge, the architect questioned why Nation believed the structure was at State House. He later hurled insults, stating that Nation should stop bothering them about this project. Subsequent phone calls, texts, email reminders went unanswered. The church's design adopts a monumental neoclassical modern hybrid style, like he told us. Inside the church, 4 rows of main sanctuary seating with capacity for up to 8,000 worshippers, multiple entry points, storage rooms, toilets and circulation corridors are incorporated for crowd control. There are 2 prayer rooms on each side of the main auditorium and various auxiliary rooms. You know, there's a book in the Bible that describes when God was giving the design of the temple that was to be built by Solomon. It talks about, it goes into great detail of where. Sounds like this is what I'm reading here. The vertical structure has 2 main levels, the sanctuary floor and 2 upper seating galleries. The galleries are laid out in a circular auditorium design in an amphitheater format to ensure visibility of the pulpit. The interior also includes 4 individual prayer rooms and 1 large family room. An exterior view of the church at night features LED lights at the entrance and a large see-through glass doorway.
Okay, there is no church big enough that can absolve the issues that are happening in the country. Hata ukijenga the size of 17 hotels, it does not diminish the issues that need to be addressed. Number 1. Number 2, we really need to start separating state and church because it's a weaponization. I think it's also an infringement on other people's religious beliefs because you're platforming and centering one over the other. And number 3, it just gives God-like demigod posturing. I will have the biggest house, 1.2 billion. Then I'll also renovate Statehouse. I'm just going to use billions. It's okay. Hiyo mambo ya capitation tutaisort baadaye. Hiyo mambo ya SHA mnaongea sana, si tutakam. Let's first build this massive church, then we'll be able to help you. We'll pray. And I always say it's a delicate personal thing. Prayer is powerful, but the weaponization of it is what really gets to me. Yeah.
Couldn't have put it better. No, I'll just leave it at that. Honestly,
this is shocking.
Mariam has no Latif is just like, what is going on?
Where is 1.2 billion shillings to build this church coming from? Is it coming from taxpayer money? If not,
listen,
where?
Statehouse is not private property.
Yes.
If it was not coming from taxpayers, then we'd have to question how private money goes into public property.
Yep.
Okay. So that's number 1. So the easiest route is just for you to assume that the money being spent in this public property is public money. Okay. Because anything else now there, you've gone left.
I'm telling you, there's nothing more dangerous than people who center themselves above the institutions. And even as, again, S went wrong, username says, no, Paul Miner says, Statehouse is public residence, just to your point. And he says, so what happens if the president, after Ruto, is Muslim? Anajenga msikiti.
Then the next one is a Hindu, then he
so
builds a temple, and so on and so
Or
forth.
is this a multi-faith place of worship?
It doesn't give multi-faith. Maybe that's an assumption, but it doesn't.
It has 2 crosses at the top.
Yeah, because most of these places have chapels.
Yes.
That's sufficient. You have a chapel within.
And a prayer room.
And a prayer room in case you have your Muslim brothers and sisters.
And you're good.
Those are sufficient. You have rooms. You don't need 8,000 seating capacity to prove what? To prove your faith.
I know. What are the other headlines?
I'm a jam. Sawa.
What else?
Samahani. It's one big story.
Sometimes you think you know everything that's going on, but there's always just something. There's always something
new.
My fellow Kenyans, I have some exciting news. I've built a 1.2 billion shillings church at Statehouse. Yes, a church right here at Statehouse. And don't worry, it's all paid for by your taxes, your hard-earned money. Because who needs schools or hospitals when you can have a cathedral costing 1.2 billion?
Hey CJ, what do you have to tell young people?
Young people, please make sure that you have registered. And when the registration of voters comes, let everyone register. Let everyone register. That is the most important thing I can tell you as of now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nyamisa, what do you think?
I agree with you. Make sure you have your ID and make sure you're registered as a voter.
Exactly.
Register as a voter, as CJ has said.
Thank you.
Ruto must go. What is Ruto going to tell us? How is Ruto giving anybody hope? Ruto already is, even his own people don't want him. You the Kenyan people, you're not the type, and you would call your leader out. It's your Ruto, it's Kasongo that we are after.
Yeah,
not the Kenyans. We love the Kenyans. We know the Kenyans have morals. Yes, our Kasongo. Yes. Your Kasongo is the one that we have an issue with. I love you guys, you Kenyans. You guys have morals.
Kenya kunaendelea kuharibika. Najua Samoei kuna vile cheki anatry kuchange rules. Jiulize hii swali. Tafakari ya babu. Na ya babu ni haya. If you're a president and you know that there's an election in 2 years time, would you, if you're not sure of coming back, would you repair your office for 2 billion shillings? Would you repair Statehouse for 2 billion shillings? That's a total of 4 billion shillings. If you're not 100% sure that you're coming back. Yes? The reason I keep doing this, this person is planning to use all methods to come back. So it's up to us to make sure that tumetokea sisi wote. Tokea. Make sure anyone who will be 18 by that time ametokea. Make sure the gap is so big that hata Sudi jo atampigia jo amwambia Yamune ekonene.
And don't buy into the political rhetoric of trying to divide you into tribes.
Yes.
Our problems are not tribal. There's no Kikuyu problem, there's no Kalenjin problem, there's no Luo problem, there's no Somali problem. There's no Kamba problem.
Yes.
Shift share knows no tribe. The university funding model knows no tribe.
Yeah.
Joblessness knows no tribe. All these problems that we point out, they do not know any tribe.
Walai kwa national anthem yetu mzima, line tu moja tu ndio ina make sense hii. Mungu nguvu yetu. Ndio peke yake. Hizi zingine zote hadi tuishi na undugu, amani na uhuru. Hakuna
uhuru, siku hizi na sisi.
Uhuru hata hizi na sisi hata tulipotokanga, amani hakuna, undugu hakuna, siku hizi mandugu ni mandugu. Yaani hakuna ati
na upendo.
Ati raha tupate na ustawi. Raha gani? Watu mtaani wanapata raha na matawi. Ustawi hakuna. Ati tushikane mikono pamoja kazini. Watu wana kazi. Ati sijui may we dwell in unity. Sasa tuna dwell in poverty. Sasa hakuna sasa ni kungori. Hakuna kitu yenye ati plenty be found within our borders.
Hakuna plenty.
Watu wanavuka border wakihepa.
Wakienda kutafuta hizo plenty huko.
Wakienda kutafuta plenty huko. Hakuna hata kitu hata mmoja kwa hiyo national anthem yenyewe. Sasa hii tunaishi nayo. Hakuna.
Wakisema one time tunawaambia nini? Tunawaambia nini? Tunawaambia nini?
One term is real, one term is unstoppable, and no violence. We need peace, but one term is real. Hii hata Mungu ameweka sahihi. Hii kampuni ya profesa na dokta sio ni ikiwaka. Hata mtoe pesa ngapi, mshuke juu, mshuke chini, muende kando, muende katikati. Hii one time is real. Asi machezo.
Hizi nguvu imebaki ni ya maandamano peke yake, si ndio? Akitaka kwenda unamuitishia Uber chap. Hakuna kubembeleza punda kwa mteremuko. Mwambie
enyewe Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. Wash fire, Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go.